Peace and love, family. Welcome back. So this video is basically about a low fade haircut, and I won't be using any enhancements, fill-ins, or fiber fill-ins on this haircut. I'm going to show you a more simplified and more effective way to complete a low fade haircut, which can be considered a drop fade. I'll explain that more into another video between the low fade or the drop fade. So I created my design line using my trimmers, my bevel trimmers. Without a design line, it's going to make it impossible for you to begin your blends, your fades. Design line is basically where you want to start your blend and where you want to start your fading. Alright, so it's not to be confused with a guideline. All right, we're going to touch more on that in just a moment. All right, so I'm going to create my outline with my bevel trimmers to create the outline before I begin my fades, because I want to see where my reference points are going to connect. The reference points are basically used as a tool to connect the dots. Now, you don't have to use it, but I prefer to use it because it's very beneficial when connecting the dots on my fade. So I'm going to use my Andes Super ZR, and I'm going to use my number 1 blade to start my guideline on my haircut. Alright, notice I'm going about an inch up. I prefer to go about an inch or higher sometimes, because you can see where the blend is after you completed your steps, right? Alright, so I'm going to clean up my guideline using my Andes Masters, and I'm basically just brushing and smoothing out that line without going into the next section, if that makes sense. So I'm just cleaning up the bottom of the guideline, and I want to erase that line so that the line is not visible. If you are having trouble taking the line out, blending the line out, you might have to adjust your lever to a sharper cutting blade to where your blade is cutting much closer to the scalp. Alright, so now I'm going to do a freehand using my Andes Masters, a freehand cutting. And basically what I'm doing here is just shaping and defining the top, so when I get ready to style the top, everything will be even. Alright, so the next step is taking my purple magnetic guards, and I'm going to brush up and knock out the weight by using a upward motion. The hair sometimes is never growing in the same direction, so you got to be mindful of the hair growth pattern, how the hair shifts, and then you can kind of maneuver with your clippers, your blending techniques, to kind of follow that pattern. So I take my next guard and I transition down to the lower, a smaller guard, so I can start blending out my next section. The clippers I'm using, the Andes Masters, I have the lever open. As more hair is being cut on this fade, I adjust the lever for each section to cut out the remaining hair that's left over. As you can see, there's a light weight line. The weight line gets lighter and lighter. I'm going to adjust my lever. It's going to adjust the blade to where I'm not cutting as much. As you get closer to the scalp on a fade, you're going to have to adjust the lever on your clipper blade to where it's cutting a little more closer. and you're going to use small strokes in those areas to kind of blend out the line, right? We want to have this fade to where it's more of a blurry, a smoother, and shadow fade effect. So I'm going to take my Andes Masters and I'm going to stroke with the grain of the hair on the sides where my blend is at, because I want my hair to lay down in that area. I want my blend to be a lot smoother. In order for that, you have to create a flat surface by stroking with the grain of the hair, if that makes sense. You go with the grain of the hair and you smooth that sections out. You smooth all those sections out to a flat surface, and that's going to create a more of a smooth blending effect. So I'm going to add a leave-in conditioner. A leave-in conditioner is basically just defining the style more. It's going to give my client a more defined, curlier style on the top.